after Donald Trump incited the erection, as Chuck Schumer says.
Donald John Trump incited the erection.
Basically, the Democrats would like to launch a 9/11 style commission. So you remember after 9/11, there was a commission that wrote this 500-page report, and it was very instrumental what they did in the war on terror, because they essentially wrote down the justification for going after Al-Qaeda, and they made it out to be some kind of extremely sophisticated, intricate organization. If you go and read it, there's even a passage about bin Laden personally handpicking the hijackers, if you can believe it, right? So now they want the same thing. They want the same thing for January the 6th. Look, you can see over here. I'm just going to pull this window up for you. Punchbowl News on Pelosi's 9/11 style commission looking into the Capitol insurrection. It will be diverse. The 9/11 commission was all white men and one white woman. This committee will better represent America, aides say. Well, that's wonderful. I'm really glad that the Rainbow Coalition death cult is going to turn into a Rainbow Commission death cult. Okay, that's great. So now they can lay the groundwork for a domestic war on terror, and they can have, all sorts of little nice toys to play with their new legislation and nice new anti-terror laws, which, of course, the United States doesn't have enough of, right? And that's just going to be great, man. That's just going to be absolutely great. And Jamal Bowman is even celebrating this as a win, right? So here's what Jamal Bowman says. How it started versus how it's going. Look, Bowman calls for a 9/11 type commission on Capitol building right in new legislature. And now, of course, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Congress will establish an independent September 11th style commission to look into the insurrection that took place at the Capitol. Wow. I mean, if you ask me, man, this is thrilling. This is exhilarating. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do with this. Now that we're in 2021, looking back at the last 20 years, as you can all see, the war on terror has been an enormous success, right? All of these civilians that have been massacred and displaced in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Iraq, in Libya, in Syria, in Somalia, in Sudan, etc., etc., etc. Right? A huge success. All of your constitutional rights that have been trampled on with the presidential surveillance program, and then PRISM, and then the NSA, the Department of Homeland Security, and ICE. All of these mass surveillance expansions, all of these enormous powers that the state now wields, thanks to people like Nancy Pelosi, by the way, thanks to the George Bush administration, and things like the Patriot Act, and of course the 9/11 Commission report, which was really essential in laying down the groundwork for the last 2 decades for this post 9/11 world that we're living in. What a huge fucking success, right? I can't wait to see what they do with this. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing, right? You trust the Democrats, don't you? You're not a Nazi or something. Matter of fact, it's going so well. I want to play you a little clip here from war criminal Karen, right? The one and only Nicole Wallace. Here's what she says.
And again, it's not us saying so, John Hyman. That is a bulletin released to all law enforcement earlier this week, that there is, until the end of April, a persistent threat of domestic extremism, domestic terrorism carried out in the ideology and around this belief that the election was fraudulent, that the COVID restrictions are unnecessary. All of those ideologies pushed by Donald Trump. But my question for you is around incitement. We had a policy, and it was very controversial. It was carried out under the Bush years and under the Obama years, of attacking terrorism at its root, of going after and killing, and in the case of Amr al-Awlaki, an American, a Yemeni American, with a drone strike for the crime of inciting violence, inciting terrorism. Mitch McConnell was in the Senate then. He was in the Senate after 9/11 too. How does Mitch McConnell, who understands that the way you root out terrorism is to take on, in the case of Islamic terrorism, kill those who incite it, how does he not vote to convict someone that he said on the floor of the Senate incited an insurrection?
Look at their faces at the end. Like, did this bitch just say that? Even for them, they're kind of like, you really outdid yourself. You've really surpassed yourself. You've really surpassed yourself, madam, haven't you? Yes. And when I say surpassed herself, I really mean that. Because if you recall, she was also on MSNBC arguing in favor of the George Bush torture program. Let me just jog your memory very briefly. You think I'm playing, right? No.
Last one was waterboarded in 2003. 3 people.
Yep.
And there is a debate
Doctor in the room.
on whether that is actionable intelligence or not.
When they decapitate people with a knife?
I mean,
no, but
we have to start comparing ourselves to ISIS.
You just said we're a beacon, a moral beacon. So, in the history of this country, I think months after 9/11, there were 3 people who we thought knew about imminent attacks, and we did whatever we had to do. And I pray to God that till the end of time, we do whatever we have to do to find out what's happening. And the notion that this somehow makes America less great is asinine and dangerous. And I swear to God, I have never felt more frustrated with this White House's inability.
No. You are fucking dangerous, okay? You are dangerous. I love at the beginning, she's like a drunk wine mom. I just shut up. You war criminal bitch. Remember, she was part of the Bush administration, right? Let me just jog your memory. Look, here she is. Aw, what a cute picture, right? You fucking neocon scum. You disgusting war criminal piece of dirt. How fucking dare you? Jesus Christ. So she's arguing in defense of the torture program under Bush, right? And by the way, if you criticize that, that's dangerous. And to say that America is not great, that's asinine. And now she's saying what? She wants to drone strike people in the US? I mean, look, man, I'm so confused because she's really surpassed herself. She has surpassed herself, frankly. She has surpassed herself. She's saying essentially, look, Mitch McConnell. I love how all of a sudden Mitch McConnell is like, she tries to appeal to his reason, right? Mitch McConnell, don't you remember? We used to drone strike 16-year-old American citizens in Yemen together. Don't you remember that? Remember when we were fighting the Muslims, the brown people? We should do that now because Donald Trump is equally bad. Those are the, right? ISIS and Donald Trump and, murdering civilians and Trump supported. This is all the same thing in her mind. This is all equal. And it warrants the same kind of reaction and same kind of agency. That's what she's saying, right? Saying, look, we killed terrorists abroad. Even a 16-year-old American citizen, we took necessary action, as she likes to call it, right? Murdering civilians, whatever. It's necessary. And so therefore, we have to do the same thing in the US. Why didn't you vote? Why didn't you vote to convict Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell? No? I'm so confused about what she's saying. Is she saying that voting is the same thing as drone striking people? Or that she wants to drone strike people? I mean, like, there's no way you can look at what she said and think that is a sane, rational person speaking. She is fundamentally sick. I mean, this woman is a neocon. I literally just showed you a fucking picture of her. She was part of the Bush administration. I mean, Jesus Christ, what more do you need? These people should be in a fucking docket in Nuremberg. They should be locked up for war crimes and crimes against humanity. They are the apogee. They are the fucking quintessential Darth Vader regime of the modern era. Everything that is happening now is partly, if not mostly, their fault and their doing, right? They crafted this post 9/11 world. These wars are still ongoing. I'm not talking about the fucking past. It's now. It's happening now still. And so she, of course she would say that. I just showed you the other clip of her arguing for torture. Why wouldn't she argue for drone strikes? Yes, that's who she is. This is Nicole Wallace, and she is on MSNBC. Remember? That's a left progressive channel, allegedly. Holy shit. I mean, this is just a little taste. They're lubing you up. They're getting you ready, right? They're getting you ready. And it started the day of the erection, as Chuck Schumer says, right? And he said, he compared it to Pearl Harbor. Right from the beginning, they were telling you, oh my God, this is the same magnitude as a 9/11, as a Pearl Harbor. It's that big. And you see them. We need a commission. We need drone strikes. We need to engage in the same manner that we did with Islamic terrorism. which, by the way, was also a creation of the U.S. in large part, if not entirely, if you know your history. And so, I mean, this is incredible. It's incredible. I mean, if they're not going to act on it, I hope they don't. I really hope they don't, for everyone's sake. Just the fact that they're saying it should be concerning. Just the fact that they're saying that should really concern you. Okay? Jesus Christ. And I love how they have time for an impeachment, right? Immediately. We got to impeach him in the House, even though he's about to leave in 2 weeks. Okay, now he's impeached. Now we got to wait for the Senate trial. All right? Let's do the Senate trial. We're going to convict him. Oh, he's not convicted? Okay, now we're going to do a commission. Where are the checks? What happened to the checks are going out the door? When Ossoff was running for election, did he say the impeachment and the commission are going to go out the door? Or, okay, well, the January 6th hadn't happened yet, but it was in the first week of January when they were saying this. I mean, you said the goddamn checks. What is more important here? Donald Trump or the welfare of the American people? What is more important here? Why are they wasting time like this? And if, you're going to have people say, well, hold on, you can do both. I'd love for them to do both. Well, actually, I would rather they not do this domestic terror shit. But by your logic, they should be doing both. Why aren't they? Where are the checks? Why aren't they taking care of the millions of unemployed? And by consequence, the millions who've lost their health care? Why are there kids still in cages? Excuse me? Huh? What has changed fundamentally? This is theater. This is theater. And it's very fucking dangerous too, right? It's extremely dangerous. It's astonishing because I'm not just telling you, look at what happened last time. No, it's literally the same people from last time. These people were all in media. They were all in government. They were all part of all of the shit that we are still in now. Okay. 20 years ago is relatively not that long ago. Okay. It's the same people. Why would you trust them? Jesus Christ. Have some goddamn nuance. Jesus Christ. Sickening. Absolutely sickening. Absolutely sickening, you know? And if you go and read the 9/11 Commission report, God help you. I mean, the thing is riddled with horse manure. It's absolutely riddled with it, right? Once again, you go back, you look at the history of the Cold War, you look at the Soviets that invaded Afghanistan from 79 to 89, and to combat them, the U.S. were financing and training and equipping and giving weaponry to the Mujahideen, right? Who did that turn out to be? Bin Laden, Zawahiri, right? All of these figures went on to form Al-Qaeda and Islamic Jihad in Egypt, etc. So, you know, the roots of Al-Qaeda stem from the CIA, okay? And that's not me saying that. That's a widely accepted fact. It's not a secret anymore. Hillary Clinton even said it. And if Hillary Clinton is owning up to that shit, I mean, no one even cares, right? We know. So for them to come around and then say that, all of this happened undetected, and as a result, okay, they passed all of these surveillance programs, they passed the Patriot Act, they passed all these terror laws, and now we're 20 years later, okay, after 9/11, and on the day of the insurrection, where were all these intelligence agencies? Where were they? You already had a 9/11 commission, you already had 2 decades to tighten security, and you're telling me a bunch of rednecks, some disgruntled Trump supporters just waltzed right in? Why is no one investigating the intelligence agencies? Why is no one investigating the National Guard? What is going on there? What are you paying $740 billion a year in defense for? Why do these intelligence agencies, the NSA, the CIA, why do they trample all over your constitutional rights, your privacy, and the privacy of people outside the US to protect you, and that they fucking failed again? And no one is investigating them? Have you heard one Democrat talk about them? Have you heard AOC, who's been so shaken? And again, I'm not, invalidating her experiences, but not just her, other people have also been shaken by January 6th. Okay, well, if I were a congressperson, if I were in her shoes, I'd like to know what the fuck the intelligence agencies were doing. Where was the NSA? Where were all of these agencies that insisted that they were not spying on people? They weren't doing warrantless surveillance. And then we found out they were anyway. And then Obama comes out and says, oh, well, these are just mild encroachments to protect you. Okay, where was that protection? Why is no one questioning that? And if they do this commission, okay, this 9/11 type commission for the insurrection, and they do a report, I can guarantee you the intelligence agencies will not be scrutinized for it. They will keep on raking in all this cash, violating, raking in enormous budgets, passed no less by the Congress, and then they will continue trampling all over your constitutional rights, all over your right to privacy. They will keep on expanding mass surveillance, despite the fact that they are either totally incompetent or perhaps even complicit. Who knows, right? I mean, if you're paying someone that much money, you're paying them billions a year to keep you safe, and then they can't even protect the heart of your nation's capital, where your political elite work. I mean, shouldn't you fire all of them? Why would you keep paying them? Why would you not say anything? Why would you not criticize them? That's so bizarre. That's so weird. It's bewildering, right? Isn't it weird? Have you heard anyone bring these intelligence agencies under scrutiny? Have you heard any of them catch any flack whatsoever? Psh, not a fucking word. Not a word. It's incredible. It's astonishing. But let's not do that. Let's not challenge the national security state. Let's just drone strike people we don't like, or at least argue for it. Let's try and normalize that kind of thinking. Wow. 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 Interesting, right? Interesting. Interesting. And notice the double standard, by the way, right? You notice the double standard here, where it's like we have a threat to our government, we have a threat to our country, an imminent threat, right? That is so grave that we have to take any action necessary or that we deem necessary in order to prevent that threat. This is what everyone is saying, right? I mean, everyone across the board. We need a commission. We need to pass a domestic terror law. We need to do this and that, right? And this is what they did after 9/11. And they justify so many wars, and they just justify so much killing and so much collateral and so many deaths of civilians in the name of what? Of keeping people safe, which they can't even do, right? But when other countries do that, okay, when in Syria, for example, they're fighting off 50 flavors of jihad, not just ISIS, but all these other groups funded by Saudi Arabia, by Qatar, by Turkey, by the CIA. Oh. Now we're going to intervene. Now we're going to sanction you. Now we're going to steal your oil. You can't fight terrorism that we created. No. You can't do that. No. That's not allowed. That doesn't exist. It's not even an idea that enters into the realm of conversation. No. You have jihadists on your doorstep? No. You're making that up. These are moderate rebels. How dare you? Interesting, right? Apparently, terrorists only exist in adversary to the United States, but never in secular Arab, socialist countries. No, they're only moderate rebels. Okay, if you say so. The hypocrisy is really staggering. It's really phenomenal, isn't it?